Hey everybody, the North Remembers here. Thank you for joining me on my first video on my new channel. I want to start out by saying everybody happy Saturday and thank you to the panelists. If you guys would go ahead and introduce yourselves. If you go down the line, T-Baby.
Hey everyone. It's always glad to be with my girls. We're gonna have fun. As you can see, we have our titles up. I am the master of chaos because I just like fucking with people. So hope you guys have fun.
No. Manaro. Yeah.
Hey everybody, Manaro here. Glad to be here with my sisters. I am the Grand Maester of the NSSS. I'm glad to be here. Glad that you guys could come out and hang out with us on North's first stream.
Greetings across the realm, Lord Commander Alicia here, and it's Candace's first run.
Yay! I think that's the first time I heard you giggle like that, Alicia. You're giggling like a little schoolgirl. You're like, it's
exciting. That may be the last.
But it's cool though. Like, this is a big deal. Baby sis, North Remembers is streaming live for the first time. Lady Diligence just popped up in here. Yes. Y'all know me.
Yeah.
I'm Christina the Sphinx. Holla, all those things. We're about to go in and have a great time. Brittany, Lady Diligence, introduce yourself. It's a celebration.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. I'm really excited to be on North's channel because it's a long time coming. She's like one of those people who sit in like your local mosque or your local church or synagogue or whatever for like weeks, and you're like, can you please just go convert now, because everyone is staring at you and they know who you are and you've been volunteering for things and it's just weird. So it's really great that she decided to become a part of the community. So I'm happy, North, and I'm excited, ready to do it.
Thank you. All right, everybody. So thank you all again for joining me. Let's go ahead and start talking about these prophetic characters. And I'm going to kick off with the first one, and we'll just do our informal chat like we usually do with what you guys think about them and what you picked up from it in the book. And my first one is Mother Mole. For me, Hard Home was one of my favorite episodes, even though it didn't happen exactly that way in the books. But Mother Mole told the wildlings to go there. They'd find their salvation there. And she's my first prophetic person that I remember as a wood witch. So who wants to go first?
Can someone refresh my memory on Mother Mole, though?
Yeah, I have a question. Like, what all did she say, Alicia? Like, I only remember that one recollection of her where they're like, and wasn't it in the Varamir Six Skins chapter?
It was. I have the, it's not a direct quote, but basically after the defeat of Mance Rayder at the Battle of Castle Black, she claimed to have a vision of a fleet of ships coming to carry the wildlings to safety across the narrow sea. Thousands of those who fled the battle were desperate enough to believe her, and she and her followers went east, and she was heard to preach to the free folk that they would find salvation there. So Varamir was flashing back in that. I love that chapter, and he was thinking he should have went with them when he was realizing he was dying.
And so what we saw at Hard Home was the culmination of her prophecy, right?
Well, it was the opposite, because they didn't find salvation. So that leads me to the second point of these prophetic characters not being right.
Well, they kind of did, because Jon Snow came with ships and saved. Like,
in the show. In the show, he did, but not in the books.
Yeah, I love crossing both, but you're right. In the books, it didn't exactly play out that way. We don't really know how much happened at Hard Home, but I think we do know that it turned out bad for them.
Dead things in the water.
Dead things in the water. Yeah, the letters came back to Castle Black, right?
Yep.
But he did send ships. Do we know the result of what happened when they came back? Because Stannis gave him ships, and he sent them out. So, refresh my memory. Do we know what happened with that? Did anybody come back and say they failed or succeeded?
I don't think anyone came back. They just got letters back. So who knows if the people that sent those letters off are still alive or not.
Oh, I thought the letters were before they sent the ships. Like the dead things in the water stuff was before.
That could be right. I may be misremembering. I'm not sure.
Look at these three. They're gonna let us know. Look at them. Look at them.
The conspiracy twins.
Yeah, but they look at them.
Anybody else remember anything about Mother Mole?
Oh, they about to let us know.
Manaro, Lady D. I know somebody got something.
I'm trying to real quick read, and I feel like I had like a kind of strong thoughts on other prophecy characters, but this one's like slipping my mind a little bit. But I do think that it happened differently, where we don't know exactly what happened at Heart Home, but the show kind of showed it. And the only thing that I really think about when I think about Mother Mole is if Vengeance somehow, because I don't think whatever he's missing at, I don't think he's a like half white walker or anything like that. I think he did somehow get to her. I have no proof on that. Straight intuition, but that's the only thing I think of when I think about her. I really don't know about her. That's why I was trying to real quick read up on her. But y'all seem like y'all knew more than I did. Here's what the chat has to say.
I kind of wonder if Mother Mole is another hybrid. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, you mean like
the
pie heart?
Yeah, and if she's able to actually see something, and then what happens is she just misinterprets her prophecies and the things that she sees, like how everyone else does. Like nobody gets it, like everybody. And I think she does because at some point we see that there are ships that are full of wildlings, right? That end up in Bravos, like they seize, I think, Lysini ships or somebody's ships they seize, and there are wildlings. There are people from Westeros that end up in Bravos. I think it's an Arya's chapter, somebody's chapter, where we see that. So somebody, like some group of wildlings did end up on some ships, probably the ships that, I don't know whose ships they were, maybe Stannis' ships or maybe the banker ships, I don't know, whoever's ships, but they ended up in Bravos. I'm not sure, but I do remember them ending up in Bravos and they were going to be enslaved. The Bravosi intercepted the ships or something like that. So I think it's possible that she just saw the vision wrong. So the ships came to take people across the narrow sea, but it wasn't a good look. Wait, or I could be wrong.
While we're pausing in transition, wasn't there also another? I'm sorry, Candace.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was just trying to say I'm back. If y'all didn't know, I popped back in, so y'all wouldn't worry.
Well, we were looking for you. We see you.
The internet gods, man.
Who was it that like, I'm probably way off in a whole different race, but they like called their people to just wander off into the water. That was like a drowned god thing, or
That was one of the drowned god priests.
Yeah.
Where like all was lost, and they're like, look, oh, Mother Roaring. It was Mother Roaring. Okay, I got it. All right.
I forgot about that.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Well, it's similar. It felt to me similar to Mother Mole, where she's like, look, we're just going to freaking go. It was similar to the... Huh?
Not Mother Roaring. You mean Nymeria, the 10,000 ships?
No, not Nymeria. At a certain point in their voyage, there was a water witch. What they call them? The water wizards, like...
I know what you're talking about, but those Roynish stories are the ones I'm not very keen on. Like, I know what you're talking about. There's something about that. It's either that or Ironborn drowned related, of people walking into the water and following somebody.
Yeah, they have water power, right? And so, like, the water, I'll just use water witch, until somebody in the chat tells me what the correct term is. But they were like, yeah, we just need to walk off into the water, and then, like, our water dad is going to take care of us. And that, to me, was similar to Mother Mole saying, we just have to go here, and then some ships are going to come save us. And people just literally wandered off into the ice and the snow with nothing. Like nothing. They didn't pack stuff. They didn't carry things. They were just like, yeah, we're going. So she said it. And some of those, like Varamir Sixskins, watched them go and was like, they're stupid. But then it turns out you're going to die anyway. Because the White Walkers are coming. Sorry. Let me mute children.
Hi, boy Sphinx.
Did y'all have anybody else have any more on Mother Mole, or do we want to go to the next character?
we can go to the next.
All right. My next one I had, and I'm just throwing some out there and then we can go around, but the next one I had was the Ghost of High Heart. She stands out second most as her look and what she said seemingly coming true. I'm not sure how he switches the chapters up, if it was truly before or dreams of the past, but it's weird that she's albino. It's weird that she's got red eyes in a blood raven kind of ghost kind of theme. That first thing there makes me think there's something connecting her to the old gods, to something we know does tell people information. And when she met Arya, the stuff she said about her seeing death in her, what do y'all think about her? There's just so many good quotes and bits of information she gave us.
I think she's definitely part child of the forest. Just like what's her name? Megan the Frog. And she almost looks exactly like Bloodraven with the red eyes and pale skin. She's just extremely short, which is probably another tell that she's a child of the forest.
How can you say somebody looks exactly like someone? Because their skin,
features, just their features.
Albino and red eyes.
Albino and red eyes. See, Candace knew what I was talking about.
That's a really big connection. Those are two really big, really rare things.
Well, me and you are both hella bright with brown eyes, but we don't look exactly alike. Like I could be.
We don't look anything alike, except, and yet I'm white. I'm lighter than you. I'm paler than you.
You are.
So we couldn't both. The albino connection is different than just being same tone.
Sometimes it's hard to tell. They just say like, if your eyes are this color, you're related.
Yeah.
Right.
But in the story, no one has those red eyes, and no one is albino. There's just very few characters mentioned like that. And I think it's a good one you said, Alicia. You thought she was a child of the forest, but I wonder if she was just a dwarf.
She could also be Blackwood.
Yes, because they have the connection to the trees.
Yeah.
Back around.
Good one, T.
Think of the Ghost of High Heart. It just recently I've been kind of interested about her just because she told Arya like she's gorged on death and I think revenge or something like that. I can't remember word for word, but the way the tone was, I feel like she was the reason for Summerhall. Like she might have told them a prophecy, and the next thing you know, they're like, "Oh, I need to hurry up and try to birth dragons," because she doesn't really tell you all of the things. She just tells you what she sees in these visions. Like she doesn't say, "Oh, I saw Sansa at the purple wedding with something in her hair." She says, I see a chick with some purple poison in her hair, someone choking and dying. You know what I'm saying? I know you guys have read the chapter, but I think that and I'm only going off my vibes, y'all, because they haven't really told us much about her. But I think she's also the reason for some reason, I got a feeling she's also responsible for Rhaegar. And like how he's always down in Summerhall, and he's got like he's like kind of drawn to the death, and he's always melancholy and all of that. I feel like he spoke to her a few times. I don't know why, but I feel like she's responsible for that as well. She's very interesting to me, and I like the fact that she's in the location where the children of the forest, like that was their holy place near the High Garden, not High Gardens, where she's at, because it's like, because it's like rotten weirwood stumps over there. And in the world of Ice and Fire, they have they tell you how it used to be these, like the children of the forest, they weren't up north, they got pushed up there. Their main place was like where grass was green and fertile and all of that stuff. And also, what's her name? I'm so bad with names right now. But in the Winds of Winter, when Arianne, she was on her way to see Aegon, that they enter a cave looking for the little girl, and you see that these caves with the children of the forest were huge, and they had these markings and stuff. So I think it's interesting. I think she's more connected to the old gods more than she might be connected to like maybe a dragon prophecy type of thing. She gives more signs of how Bran has his green dreams, where you see like these imageries, but not really what exactly is going on. So I feel like I'm talking too much.
No, not at all, T. Not at all. That was good information. I know exactly what you're trying to say. I feel like she was closer to what Bran is becoming than just a random person who happens to have a few thoughts put into their dream.
I also agree. Like, I tend to think that she is definitely a child of the forest human hybrid. And to speak about like the way that she sees her visions, like to that point, I think she does see fragments, and that's why she explains things the way that she explains them, because maybe she doesn't even see the entire picture. Maybe she really just does hear the clangor, and see shapes moving or something like that. I do think it's curious, I've said it before, that she's not on the God's eye. I do think it's curious that she's still just out there, around, still, prophesizing, that she's specifically working with the Brotherhood with banners when they have had someone who's resurrected by the Red God. So I do think that that's all very, very interesting. Because if you would think that there's some old God's loyalty there, then, maybe this whole thing is there really is only one God or one entity, whatever, and we just, have it by different names. But I do think it's very interesting. I find her to be one of those characters that I wish we knew a lot more about, and I hope we get to learn a lot more about her. But yeah, that's it.
So what you said, B, like saying she's working, like working with the Brotherhood without banners or whatever. I think she's a rogue prophet. Like, I think she got her heart freaking broken with what happened, and she's just like wandering, doing whatever. And maybe she linked up with some other children of the forest, and they're like hiding in trees or whatever. And she has some sort of empathy for the Brotherhood, and that's why she tells them her dreams. Or maybe she tells everybody her dreams, if they care to listen, if you care to ask. So we don't know, like the full extent of what she's doing. She may just tell anybody she walks past, like, yes, last night I dreamt this. We don't know.
But then she didn't want Arya around her at all. So honestly, but I do like the idea of her being rogue. And that could be a reason if she is connected with the children of the forest, that could be a reason why she's not at the God's eye. Is maybe she did go rogue. Because, I don't think all the children of the forest are bad, but I don't think all of them are good. So maybe she knows a little bit more than we do. And she's like, look, I can't deal with y'all. But then it does seem like she is trying to be helpful, which makes me think more that she might be a Blackwood, because they're connected to both sides. They're connected to fire and to ice.
But
that could explain the look too, right? Like albinoism running in their genes, with Blood Raven being part Blackwood.
And also with the dreams or the visions she gets, because Blood Raven, doesn't he get visions as well?
Oh yeah,
hellified vision. But that's assuming that being good means being a green seer or a Blackwood. It doesn't mean that she's a good or bad person. It just means she.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying when it comes to the children of the forest, I don't think all of them are good, but I don't think all of them are evil.
They're just regular, right? Like us.
Like any society. I think that's what
yeah, as far as to say that, this is my thoughts, and I know Professor D could definitely bring this home, but my thoughts is that if you're the children of the forest and they had this huge pack, and I know I'm going so off topic, so I'll just say this real quick and bring it back. But if you're the children of the forest and you get pushed back, like you were not always up north, you were always where it's fertile. You get pushed all the way back. Are you telling me that all of you are going to be okay with getting pushed all the way back? Your trees are getting still demolished. No, I think some wanted to end the fight and just be done with it. And then I think some of them were like, fuck that. And that's why we have White Walkers. I feel like that was maybe one of the reasons why we have them. It just doesn't make sense. You make a pact, but everyone's still down for that. So I'm going to stop going off topic.
To your point, T, like into the other, there's so many points. Oh man, because y'all know I'm a children of the forest advocate. Like I'll be like, free Raven, save the children.
Free. Just children of the forest all day.
Save the children. Like I think that in the event that she was somebody who was rogue, she'd be dead by now. Blood Raven is 1,000 eyes in one. He's like the powerful green seer. If he wanted somebody dead, dog, she would have been taken out by a lizard lion like however many years ago. Like, she wasn't. I don't think that she's necessarily. I don't think that she's a rogue. Like, he's been up north for how long and in control for how long? Like, realistically, he could have. I think he would have been able to get her by now if she was a rogue, unless she's able to somehow cloak herself, like her existence. Like, does she have a power to cloak herself? Because if not, he would see her. If he wanted to find her, he could find her. Is what I'm saying. I would think that he'd be able to find her.
Why hasn't he tried to find her? Or maybe that I never thought.
Right.
I never thought why. Because Blood Raven, they have similarities. It's kind of like, and I feel like I'm over talking, so I'm gonna stop. But that was just interesting that you said it. Why hasn't he contacted the Ghost of High Heart, or did he put her in that situation for a reason? Because you know that not Littlefinger, wrong person, but you know Blood Raven, he's a smart dude, and everything is not what it seems when it comes to this dude. You're right. There's no way that he didn't try to contact this. He tried to he contacted Mel. Of course he would contact this chick, right? Wouldn't that make sense?
He's a dream seer. Then she's getting dreams from Blood Raven. If she's getting dreams, she's getting dreams from Blood Raven. So he is contacting her. Somebody's information. She's getting information from somebody.
Maybe that's why she didn't want to be around Arya, because if Arya was around, then Bran's gonna be hip to what's going on.
The other day, Blood Raven sent me a text message, and he's like, yo, I'm in your head. What are you doing? And I was like, nah, son. I left him on read. I didn't reply.
Blood Raven sent you a message for real?
I'll show you my phone.
No, thank you.
You guys are making some really good points, and I like the last bit too, that I think Blood Raven was the one giving her the bits of information to give to certain people. And the question is, how was he using the Brotherhood without banners to his advantage? And maybe it helps us try to figure out what Blood Raven's motives were or are.
Candace.
Yes.
So Blood Raven is maneuvering inside of the Brotherhood without banners over R'hllor?
Question exactly. Why would he support people who support the Red God? Are they opposites, or is there something they can do together, like ice and fire?
Why would the Red God tolerate that shit? He's obviously got power. We've seen it, right? So he can do what the hell he wants if he wants to. So why would he let like some other stuff come up in his situation?
He's a Blackwood, so he's on both sides.
No, I was talking about
R'hllor. Yeah, I think
that's what makes the Blood Raven interesting, is because he's got strong ties on both sides. Like, he's a bastard Targaryen, but he still has this strong connection to the others. Like, that's the brilliant thing about him, is you really don't know what's going on, because they do have such a strong ties to both sides. Like, even before he was like a bastard Targaryen, they have blood of old Valyria. That's
and
it.
I also think that realistically, it's in the Game of Thrones, we see it all the time, like with Blood Raven, and not with Blood Raven, but like with Littlefinger, and oftentimes with Tywin, like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So maybe like the threat right now is the White Walker threat, or maybe there's some other like means to an end that he gets to. You know what I'm saying? That one needs to get to through the other. Maybe they need each other. It's like codependent for some reason. But I can't see them both being like, because I mean, they're supposed to both be gods, right? If they are, if that's even real.
Hashtag conspiracy wins.
That's a good theory, though, Lady D, because if they're trying to go against the Seven, then they have a common goal at the moment, which is turn over the Sept.
Can I real quick read what Eric wrote, because it was actually interesting. He said maybe the Ghost of High Heart told Blood Raven to range beyond the wall, and he will become the Green Seer. I can totally see either she having an influence on Blood Raven, or Blood Raven having an influence on her. It's interesting. They had to have talked or had a kinetic vibe or something. I can't believe I read this book so many times, and I never thought, why didn't they talk to each other? I mean, he tried to contact Mel. Mel, she knows shit, but she don't know shit. I mean, this chick, she knows some things. If I'm Blood Raven, I'm like, all right, let me go to High Heart, because, you know, that's probably fam, and they know what they're talking about. I mean,
Yeah.
I never thought of that. Good job.
I agree. Sorry. I agree too, baby. I'm sorry. I was gonna read the quote that I had found from the Ghost of High Heart when she was talking to Tom and Lim and Greenbeard.
Yeah.
And I didn't catch that the old gods were talking to her and that Blood Raven was the old god at the first read. But the way she starts, she says, "Old gods will not let me sleep. I dreamt I saw a shadow with a burning heart butchering a golden stag." So I'm not going to read the whole thing at the moment, but she mentioned that the old gods are giving her information. And it took me a while to connect that the old gods, sounding like a group of individuals, was just this guy in the tree, which is Blood Raven. So he was talking to her, and it sounds like he's giving her the information. Is that right?
But
which side? I'm sorry.
How did Blood Raven see that? Were there werewoods around where Renly and Stannis were?
can I just ask, like, why does it have to be like it's the old gods?
What do you mean?
Like,
the Northerners believe in the old gods, so that's who they're going to think sent them anything. But legitimately, we've seen him send stuff to Bran, so we know it happens.
well, we assume that they've, you know, like we assume it comes from who it comes from. We can't lock anything in. We can't lock in.
But in the story, we know that about Blood Raven and Bran's relationship, at the very least, right?
Well, in what
Did you
respect?
also do that with Jojen?
That he met him and that he said, "I'm the one that's been teaching you stuff."
Like, hey, you need to get
Hey,
Bran.
yo, please, the man behind the curtain. Come on.
But when you think about the gods, if she's thinking more than one tree is contacting her, because aren't the children of force when they die they become in the tree or something like that?
Yeah. And
So
there was
it's like
dead
she
ones
could
down there.
have been- so it could have been different gods per se that were sending her information.
That's
I don't-
interesting.
But then you could also think, because it's gods, you don't have to assume that it's just one. It could possibly be two gods sending her messages. I mean, like I said, I think all of us have said that. Oh, okay, let me shut up. But I do think that, you know, it's a possibility it could be more than just one gods. And Beauty Queen, go for it.
Yeah, Beauty Queen, it's totally your turn. Let me just say this question before I forget it. It seems like Blood Raven is the freaking god of all gods. Like, he just knows everything and controls everything. They're like, oh, a cat ran by me. It's Blood Raven, and he sent the cat. And he sent the cat to look at my heel because he knew I would turn to the left, and then I would find, like, whatever. And if we put all this, like, emphasis into Blood Raven and similar entities, it's hard to even believe in other gods because, like, if a regular person can just have power and control these things, it's too much. Just too much. Beauty Queen, I'm sorry. I had to say it before I forgot it. Moving on.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I usually take a very simplistic view of things, and I like, my mind is just reeling from what I've heard from everybody say. I've, like I always say, I find it kind of interesting how there are very few people that share that characteristics of the look, and I was just thinking Ghost also shares the same characteristic of being an albino and having red eyes and being very, it's like people that have those characteristics have a certain level of knowing, right? They have a level of knowing, and they each display that level of knowing differently. I think Mel is arrogant. She doesn't take the time to really understand what it is that she sees in her visions, and that's why she always misinterprets what she sees. It's not that what she sees isn't right, it's just that she's too arrogant in interpreting it, and so it always comes out wrong. I think the Ghost of High Heart, I think her connection to the children of the forest, I think she had the green sight like Jojen, because remember the Blackwoods have the blood of the first men in them. So, and that's where a lot of them have green sight. So I think the ghost of High Heart had green sight, so that's why she was able to see visions. Because to me, the way that she interprets the visions that she sees was the same way Jojen was interpreting what he saw to Bran. He just put it in a metaphor, for lack of a better way of explaining it. He just told it in a way of a metaphor, but it all does come true. I think Bloodraven is the same. And I think what's happening with all of them, they have pieces to a puzzle. They just are trying to fit them all together in order to solve the puzzle. I think Bloodraven probably has has more pieces than everybody else, and they're all trying to put all the pieces of the puzzle together. Because why would you get visions of the future? Why would you need visions of the future? What is it that you're trying to prevent? Because if something is going to happen, there's not really much that you can do to stop it from happening. You can either delay it or you can change course, but eventually the end result will still be the same. Because remember what Jojen said, you can't change it from happening. I'll say this example and then I'll jump off. When he told Bran that he saw that him and his brother were dead and their faces were off, you know what I mean? He wasn't telling a lie. It just so happened that he saw the Miller's boys that were taking the place of Bran and Rickon. It happened. It just didn't happen in the way that he saw it. So again, you get pieces of the puzzle, but you don't know why it is that you're getting these. All this stuff is just coming at you. You're getting all of this information, but for what purpose? And I'm gonna agree that there is some higher power that is probably manipulating everything that's going on, and all of these other characters are just players. They're just like trying to figure out what the end game is, and Bloodraven is trying to communicate through this channel, and all the other players are trying to communicate in that channel, and they think the information they're getting is for their own benefit, but it's actually part of a bigger mystery and part of a bigger puzzle. And I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you, Manaro. That was good. Yes, deep.
If everyone didn't know, just in case for the chat, whenever the Maester and the Master of Chaos and the Master of Conspiracy speaks, you need to have your quills and parchment ready. Just saying, let that always be a disclaimer.
Yeah, I literally just broke out my quill and parchment so I could add something to what they just said, and it's crazy. That's why I love you guys, and this panel combination is so good. I think we lost Brittany, but hopefully she'll pop back in. It's just one of y'all, I think Manaro just said something about everybody getting a piece of prophecy, and I wonder how it would play out if we put it all together and kind of just tried to make sense of it from what everybody says. And for some reason, the next character I was going to talk about was Patchface. And his is a little bit more light because he just says those stories with statements, the shadows come to dance, my lord, dance, my lord. And he says things that kind of, they start to match what's going on, but they don't make sense to the people that are hearing it. And I thought about the shadows dancing when Dany was trying to save Khal Drogo, the shadows dancing in Patchface's stories, and they're describing, you know, similar looks, the wolf, the this and that, and the prophecy seems to be getting sent to multiple people across the realm, and Patchface is my next person. So I just want to know what y'all feel about Patchface. I know T has some strong ideas about Patchface. Do you want to start that off?
Yeah, I feel like a broken record, but I have to say it. When it comes to those shadows, I just assume, based on, I don't think it's the shadows that come from like Mel, because we never see them technically stick around. However, the very beginning of Game of Thrones, we had the White Walkers, and talking about how the shadows are dancing and all this other stuff. But at the same time, I guess I have to stop getting out of the mindset that when it says shadows, it would either have to be this or it would either have to be this. Now, I'm starting to think more that when it says the shadows come to stay, my lord, that it means that magic is back and is here to stay. Because you have shadows a lot of times talking about the others, and then you have shadows a lot of times talking about dragons. So now my thought process is more of that when we hear those, the shadows are here to stay, my lord, it really means that magic is being brought back into the world in this game. The other thing when it comes to Patchface is that it automatically makes you think of Under the Sea, and that these are all of the things that his prophecies are talking about under the sea, but then it doesn't make sense who he's singing these prophecies to. Like talking about under the sea, I think that it's to mislead us to think it's talking about what goes under the sea. But if you have read that that Dampere chapter where in Winds of Winter, when Euron was doing all that crazy stuff, we see that the Drowned God is really nobody. But then again, when it comes to the Shade of the Evening, it shows you a lot of things. It shows you what's to come, what hasn't, and what could possibly be. So I'm kind of on defense when it comes to that, because either that prophecy is real, then it really means that most of the prophecies that Patchface talks about is more of metaphors more than it's related to the Drowned God. But if the visions from that chapter aren't true, then I'm going to have to lean that those are really about, prophecies from under. But one thing that kind of always makes me stand out when it comes to the prophecies under that's related to the Drowned Gods is that he says when he's with John that he'll take them into the sea and bring them back out. It's the same thing that essentially John is supposed to do, or was trying to do, was he was trying to go to the wildlings and bring them back home to safety. And then it said something about horns blowing. And when it said that, I instantly thought that he's either talking about John at that moment to say that John's going to be the one to save you. Because the horns mean either, brothers come home, the White Walkers, or I forget what the other the horn was. Wildlings.
Wildlings.
Right. So because of that, that's the only reason why I kind of hesitate when it comes to Patchface prophecies being somehow related to Under the Water. I'm going to shut up now.
How do you even come after that?
Yeah, T, you don't have to mute yourself, T. You're on a roll. I love it. That's what I wanted to talk about this with, because all of us see these things and we see little different bits. And as we're putting it together, I'm figuring stuff makes more sense hearing you guys speak your opinions on it.
Yeah, because
I thought he was just a dumb guy just singing the whole time the first time I read it. And then I thought about it. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, because when you think about Patchface, I have to start asking, when I think about prophecies in general, it's more of why are they even explaining these prophecies to this certain person? Like, what would be the purpose? Patchface talking about the Drowned Gods makes no sense. Yeah, he was warning Sans about Blackwater battle. He was warning him about the purple wedding. He was warning him about John. It's interesting. It was like stark a lot of things for the North. So it just was interesting that it didn't seem like it was related to Under the Sea. So that's what made me start thinking, well, what would be the purpose? And then that's when you start trying to figure out what these prophecies actually really mean, because I just don't feel like everything is what it seems. It just doesn't feel right. So, but I can go all day with Patchface because he's just really interesting. And I really have a strong feeling that he was skin changed, like someone's skin changed into him, because there is a chapter with the prologue to Dance of Dragons where the bear, they talk about that bear and how she twitches, and it's almost similar to what Patchface does. We have these twitches and it seems like he's like kind of resistant. He has like a sinister way about him. So yeah, Patchface, I tell you, That one's a doozy.
Not jump in real quick. What is the possibility that the reason that somebody is skin changing or manipulating Patchface and sending him like a herald, kind of like he's heralding or sending a message out to let people know what is going on, but it's done in a cryptic fashion, if I'm making sense? Like, you know how you try, and like I was saying before, pieces of a puzzle, like they're trying to get the information out and they're using different people to get that information out, but it's so cryptic, and people are supposed to decipher what that message is without actually coming right out and saying what it is.
That's a good thought. That's a very interesting thought. Also, thinking about the skin changing thing, does Patchface sleep? Do they ever talk about him going to bed or eating anything?
I don't think that they do. They really talk about how he jingles and how they feel sorry for him, and the creepy songs that he sings, and how it freaks out the little princess. But they don't really talk about if he eats or sleep. But that's interesting. You only hear, really, you don't really think much of him until Mel says, "I've seen him in my flames," and he's got blood on his mouth. And then it's like, he was already creepy, but now that's even more creepier.
Yeah, like he's got just the super sinister vibe about him, and that's, I don't know, there's always more freaking questions with these damn people than answers. That's all I got. Oh, we lost North. Hopefully she restarts and comes back. Christina, it's your fault. You come back and then Candace gets kicked out. What the hell did you do?
Right. Talk about Patchface.
Yeah, so y'all know me with the theories and stuff. It's not my forte, so to speak. But I am definitely consistently creeped out by Patchface and his songs, especially when what's her name? The little girl.
Shireen?
Yeah, because I was about to call her Marcella, and that's not her name.
I'm about to call like O'Bars. When
you know her.
When Shireen is like disturbed by his songs, I was like, there's something there. You know, like she's like, tell him to stop. He keeps singing this. I don't want him to sing that. Like he keeps doing it. But they're besties. So it's like when your best friend knows what hits you and feels and like keeps coming at you from the left like all the time. It was like there's something to what he's saying, because she's like, tell him, make him stop singing that. And Mister's like, I can't tell the freaking fool what to sing. But I always felt like there was something to that. The rest of it, I'm not the best theory crafter or whatever, but I knew there was something up with him.
Again, I guess that's why I'm sorry.
Go for it.
Go ahead, Manaro.
Oh, I guess that's why I said that maybe they're using him as a messenger or as a herald. Because why else would somebody keep repeating the same thing over and over again unless you're trying to get a message out? It's just a very cryptic message, or the way that it's being delivered is very cryptic, so people, a normal person, really wouldn't understand. So I guess, and they have them in different regions, right? Because we have Patchface in the Stormlands, we have the Ghost of Highheart in the Riverlands, we have Diligence in the north, we have Bloodraven in the north. So I mean, they're pretty much covering most of the region to kind of herald a lot of these cryptic messages that are being put out. That's kind of warning. Some of them are warnings, some of them are foretellings of things that are getting ready to happen. And probably a lot of people won't really recognize what the messages are until it's too late?
Yes, Manaro. Yes. And that's my question. If this stuff is so important, why are you saying all this cryptic shit? Like the same thing with Quay, with Danny. Like, why won't you just pull? If you're gonna pull up, just freaking pull up and be like, hey, turns out you're in danger. Don't trust that guy. Go with this dude and like, don't go there. So why sit here and be like, the shadows come to dance, my lord, dance, my lord. Like, if you can roll up on me when I'm in my bed about to go to sleep, and you like snuck in and you're like, hey, check this out. The shadows are coming, blah blah blah. You know, like, why? If you have that ability, why not tell me? Like, why with the crypticness and the riddles?
The only thing that I can think of is that they cannot formally speak to them and say, hey, this person is the one after you, this one and this one. I think that they can only send images, and that's their way of communication. I think that if the old gods or the, Lord, whatever, I think if they could speak to you, they would, but I don't think that they necessarily can. Maybe in dreams or something like that, but I think that would make the most sense to me as to why they can't directly speak. Otherwise, it would make no sense.
Well, the point of when you receive a prophetic dream, right? When prophets receive visions and dreams, the prophet then is supposed to interpret that to the population in terms that the population can understand. It's just that the people that are receiving the visions and the prophetic dreams are all broken. Patchface is a broken individual. He was drowned for 3 days, and so he's not what you would call somebody who's in his right mind, if I'm making sense. So the way that he is communicating the visions is not going to be in a way for a lot of people to understand or take seriously. In the same way, the ghost of High Heart, she's a broken individual, right? Because we know that she gorged on grief from Summer Hall. And so when she expresses or talks about a lot of her visions, they come out cryptically instead of her communicating them clearly in terms for people to understand what they're supposed to mean. She talks in riddles or in circles. So it just came to me that most of the people that are receiving the visions are all broken. Bran is a broken individual when he's receiving visions from the three-eyed raven. Jojen is a very sickly, broken young man, and he has the gift of green sight. The only person I can probably say who's probably not broken, but I think they're broken in more so in a mental sense, is Melisandre, because she was a slave, as a very young girl. So she has PTSD to a certain degree. One second, she was sold to the House of Valor, so she had no say in being a red priestess. So that's just my thought. But prophets are supposed to communicate the visions that they receive as a means of warning to the people that they're prophesying to, right? I receive a vision of something that is supposed to happen, or there's some sort of danger, and I'm going to interpret to you the visions that I've received from whatever deity I get it from, to let you know, okay, this is what's going to happen. Here's how we need to prepare for it. There are some things that we need to do. Here are some things that we're not supposed to do, but that is not what's happening, because the people that are receiving it are too broken, so they speak in broken language. And I'll jump off.
No, you make a good point there, Manaro. And God, the prophet thing, the Melisandre was my next person. And I couldn't help but wonder, as a person that did not volunteer, but then I realized none of them volunteered, right? The red priests. So that's why they're kind of random, like Thoros from Mir, and she's from, where's Mel? From what we know, Ashai?
I don't think we do know. We know she was raised in Ashai.
Yeah, so it's kind of like they have this orphanage full of people that they force to be like Jason Bourne of religion, and they, you know, T baby. I'm sorry, I watched too many CIA operative movies.
Jamie, your question didn't pop up. Jamie had like a good question.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it too. I keep seeing
Yeah.
them, and I'm like, what is he gonna ask?
Can I real quick just respond to Beauty Queen, because she made really good points. I do think with some of them, I think that they have to be broken in order to open their third eye or something like that. Because I don't think didn't Blood Raven lose his eye, and that's when he really started to like people would be afraid of their whispers because they feel like he had eyes everywhere or something like that. I get like his past stories mixed up as far as timeline, but I honestly just think that they can't formally communicate with them. I'm not sure. You could also throw out there that what if they did get the full prophecy, but you have where like with Mel, she was always getting this prophecy, but she just assumed it was Stannis, and then later on she says, you know what, it's my fault for reading this wrong because I was saying what I wanted to see and not what was being shown to me. So you have to think of that as maybe that's the reason why these prophecies aren't being told correctly, is because they're reading it to what they wanted to believe. But then also you have to think, what if they got all the prophecies right, but you're trying to tell people like, hey, the others are coming. People gonna be like, girl, bye. Like people would look at you as a crazy person. So it's like I think it's a combination. If you don't stop, it's my cat, sorry, but if you she just lost my train of thought. This is why I don't let her in this room, because she want to leave, and when she want to come in, she want to come in, and it throws me off. But when it comes to prophecies, I think it's so many different variables when it comes to how they see it. But definitely, I agree with you on how it's broken and that they don't get these clear messages. But I think it might be impossible. Like when I think of clear messages, I think of the first Daenerys, the one who saw the doom of Valyria 12 years before, and they tried to tell people, and everybody was like, "Get out of here," and they left. So I think of that like they could have got the full prophecies, but you have people who don't believe you, and then you could still get the full prophecy, but someone reads it the wrong way because they see what they want to see. But then again, I do think a lot of them get broken prophecies or prophecies they only needed to know. That might also be a reason. But you made good points and you got my mind going. So thank you, Beauty.
Was it ever said why Melisandre even went to Stannis?
You know, that's a good point, Alicia, because she said Thoros went to Robert to turn him toward R'hllor. So if she went to Stannis, it was to turn him toward R'hllor. And why R'hllor there if he had Baratheon followers? Something about that Baratheon blood might mean something, or was it just the role at the time?
He didn't go to Stannis. She went to his wife.
But she went to his wife to get to him. House Florent had no, dogs in the fight. They really, other than the marriage.
Well, what's the fight, right? Like, what's the fight?
The kingdom, like if they knew something was to come because of this potential connection of prophecy,
but
maybe
there's that much about like the seven who sits on the Iron Throne. It seems like it's not a big deal. It's more so who should be leading the world, not so much like who should be on the Iron Throne. And
at the end of the day, it could be a takeover of religion versus a takeover of Westeros. Like maybe Westeros won't even matter. We all think King's Landing might burn ashes, and maybe it's a religious fight and not. They could end up in the East. They could end up in a Shire where we don't even think we'll see.
I think they were just. I think, kind of like what they said in the show. I think the R'hllor was sending people out to preach whatever message they were trying to get out. So they sent people to different areas, per se, of the kingdom in order to spread the and to convert people over to the Lord of Light. Because I do believe that R'hllor, or whoever the head of R'hllor is, they do understand that the Great Other is out there, and they're looking to defeat the Great Other, and they're trying to convert people. I think Thoros, his job, you're right, his job was to go and convert King Robert over to the Lord of Light. Melisandre, again, she was arrogant, right? She heard the stories of Azor Ahai, so she went out searching for her Azor Ahai. So, and to the point where she did her little tricks and though she was doing tricks and her little magic, or tomfoolery, in order to have Stannis look like he was the Lord of Light, like by doing all these other little tricks. So I think she was there to go to convert, but I think she took it a step further and try to make him out to be Azor Ahai in her arrogance.
I agree. I had an idea too. I think that, you know how House Royce was like placed everywhere because they had like X amount of second and third and fourth sons. What if R'hllor was just trying to send people, and I guess it only ended up being the Baratheons, but in the same kind of sense, to whoever may win? Like Thoros was already with Robert, and Mel knew that. And I don't know, we don't know how much time it took for her to be trying to get into Stannis's ear, to hear him, have his ear. So maybe they were playing every potential option in that brother battle, if that makes sense.
That makes sense, because right now we have the Red Priestess and priests in Meereen preaching Dany, and in the north, like Jon Snow. So like obviously either there's a miscommunication, or they're just like, whoever's winning, we're gonna put our power with them, because they have power. I'm not gonna say it's the only religion that we know has power. Like, people have been brought back from the dead like several times. So maybe their power, they can choose where they put it. Or maybe the red guy chooses where it goes. But whatever it is, whoever is in that circle, like if I'm here in Augusta, Georgia, and I'm like, okay, so this is our Augusta king, and then like, you're in New York and you're like, this is our New York king, but we all worship the same God. It's all just, we believe what we believe, and then in the end we'll see who wins.
Yeah. Well placed. Well played, except that Thoros was a drunk. Alicia, you had a question?
That was it. Just how are the Red Priests like backing Stannis and the Baratheons, but also on the other side of the world they're backing Dany? It doesn't seem like they're communicating a whole lot with each other.
Maybe they were backing the Baratheons as the known locatable Targaryen bloodline.
I think it's just
that might be a tinfoil Thursday idea, but they were the last of Targaryen related people to even care about. So maybe before they knew where Dany was, because they didn't know in the East until she started to pop up and pronounce her titles and be there and be the Queen of Meereen.
Everybody knew they were there. It wasn't a secret, right?
Not when she was with the Dothraki, right?
They didn't know exactly where to find her.
Well, before that, like they were he was the bigger king, and he was going from, like, it wasn't hard to find him. You could find him if you freaking wanted to. He was a kid begging and moving from Magister to like whoever. No? You don't think it would have been easy to find him?
Easy enough, I assume.
If you got enough coin.
But he didn't matter back then, I guess that's what it was. Viserys didn't matter for them to go after him. Dany only mattered after the dragons came.
And after she got married and was possibly pregnant, then it was like, okay, now we have a problem.
They weren't much of a threat to anyone at the time when they were, just, wandering around. And You're right. It wasn't until she got married and she had her dragons, that's when people started to really take notice of, okay, yeah, we've got a Targaryen over there, but all before that, it didn't really matter because they were struggling. They didn't really have any real power, so they weren't considered a real threat as long as they stayed across the narrow sea.
All right. You guys want to do Jamie's question? Q&A?
Yeah. I got it. I think I got it. Let me know because I know you typed it out a few times and tried to shorten it and change it. But what I got for you, Jamie, is it possible that the only way for Arya, and this is not related to what we're talking about, but still epic, is it possible that the only way for Arya to become no one is by killing the person assigned to kill you?
Deep.
That is
Deep.
interesting and very likely, I think. I like that.
Well, who was assigned to kill her, though? Like, I love it, but
well,
I
if
would
we're going by the show,
that.
if we're going by the show, then it would be the waif.
Well, not necessarily her, but like anybody. Like, the one way that you become no one is by killing the person that's supposed to kill you. Because I would say
if the person that killed you, you would be no one, but you'd be dead. But I get where he's coming from with the play on words. If it was the waif, show waif, then that's how she became no one. She was like, I'm done, I'm Arya. But actually, no, she didn't become no one. She became herself again after killing the waif. And no one ever really tried to kill her directly in the story, right? No one else?
According to Jaqen, though, a girl was finally no one.
But I think Jaqen was full of shit, though. Excuse my French. That was a weird conversation he had with her. I don't think he believed that. I think he was just blowing smoke to her.
I don't think the House of Black and White ever wanted Arya to be no one. I think
they wanted Arya to be
Arya Stark.
They wanted Arya to be angry Arya Stark and go kick ass.
Right. They didn't want no one when it came to her. Not ever.
I think the House of Black and White knew of Arya's abilities as a ward and probably wanted to capitalize on that ability, and were trying to, because I think they weren't that strict with her with respect to becoming no one. They told her, yes, you have to become no one, but remember, the kindly man always talks about how she's a wolf, about her wolf dreams. He always mentions to her about the fact that she has wolf dreams, so they know that she is a ward, and that is a very amiable skill to have, especially as a faceless man. I don't think they really expect her to ever really become no one, because I'm sure they know she's out there revenge killing. I'm sure they know that she's gonna be out there revenge killing, and no matter how many faces that she wears, that's her. They know she has her prayer list. But that's a good question. But how much if no one allows themselves to be seen as no one, how much of a no one are you? I don't know if I just made sense there. But if I'm supposed to kill no one so that I can become no one,
who the hell am I?
Kill me. If no one is coming to kill me, and I recognize that you are coming to kill me, then you wasn't much of no one anyway. You had to have been someone because you slipped. I'm not supposed to recognize you as someone in order to know that you are out to kill me.
No,
what was the original question? I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna ask it again because I think we kind of went off a little bit.
Okay, what's the question?
Is it possible that the only way for Arya to become no one is by killing the person assigned to kill you or kill her? So that means if the waif was assigned to kill her and she kills that person, does that then make her no one? Jamie, let me know if I'm wrong, but I'm just trying to
Well, one, I don't think it's ever possible for Arya to be no one just based off of who she is. But I don't know. I think it's really you have to let go of everything. I think it's based on that training more so for you to just kill no one to become no one. I think it's through that training where you let go of all your personal belongings, everything you hold dear, no family, friends, none of that. I think when you become like, I don't want to say heartless, but when you become, it's cliche to say no one, but when you just become stealth, that sounds better. Then I think when you don't have any, when you're unbiased, that's what I meant to say. When you become extremely unbiased, then I think that's when you become no one. But I think with Arya, I don't think it's possible for her to become no one. Even when she's trying to be no one and trying to be other people, her Stark ways always comes back. I think it's physically impossible for her, even if she wanted to. Like, she wanted to throw away the needles so that she can start her training, but she just couldn't do it. When she was hiding from when she was gone and hiding from the City Watch, it's not City Watch, it's, you know who I'm talking about, the Royal Army, she was trying to pretend to be someone else, but when it came time to battle, she's yelling Winterfell. So I think she just, it's impossible for her just because of who she is. She's always going to be reminded of who she is. And I don't think Bran would allow it. I think Bran would do something to remind her of who she is. So I hope I answered. I feel like I went off topic.
Yeah.
It was a good question. Was that Chat room Jamie's question?
Chat room Jamie's question.
Jamie.
Nobody can still like really answer it though. Chat room Jamie is like,
I have to say Chat room Jamie because I talk so much shit about Jamie. I always feel awkward, like, but not you, because you're cool.
Not you, Chat room Jamie.
like regular Jamie can die, but chat room Jamie is cool, you know?
Chat room Jamie is
He needs his own channel as well. Just saying. I'm gonna start throwing everyone out there to make channels.
Oh, I thought he had one. I was like, what? I thought I missed it. Never mind. Yeah, Chat room Jamie.
Manaro.
He also asked the other question there. How do you discard your identity, barring blunt force trauma? Who are you to a dead man? I think the faceless man do practice a certain level of blood magic because when you wear the face of somebody else, you also take on whatever memories they have.
No.
And because they had to cut Arya's face in order to put the face of the girl the first time, and the faceless man had to tell her to relax because she said that she could feel the girl's
Her fear, right? Something like that.
The girl. I think the girl was somebody who was getting beaten or abused, and I guess she could feel that. And the faceless man and the wave had to kind of tell her to relax, in order for the face, in order to mold over her face. So it leads me to believe that there's some sort of, I don't know, there has to be some sort of blood magic involved in that if it requires you to have to cut yourself in order for you to plaster, some blood is involved in the face coming over your face, and for the face to mold over yours, you also take on some of the memories or some of the trauma that the person whose face you're wearing. So I don't know. I don't know if there's some blunt force trauma involved. Maybe there is some sort of trauma involved. I don't know if it's blunt force.
Don't you guys think like the whole faceless man, like their whole thing changed? At first, their whole ideal was just to, end suffering. And then it seems like now it's a profit thing. Like, what can you give me for me to kill or get rid of what you want done? I just feel like the Iron Bank is behind the faceless man now. Like, something just doesn't add up to how you went from being a mercy to now it's like you're a assassin, a hired to kill type of situation. Because they don't help you unless you're willing to give up basically almost everything. Not everything, but almost everything. And I find that kind of weird.
I agree. There was inconsistencies with the faceless man.
Oh my goodness, she's returned.
Is she back? Is she back? Yay!
Hi, Lady D. Welcome back.
Sorry, guys. Now I gotta pull up the YouTube.
It's okay.
Do you need
you guys, I wanted to kind of wrap it up about the next 10 minutes or so because I know there's a chat at 9. So do y'all want to finish your final prophetic thoughts and maybe some Q&As. I haven't been in the chat, but anybody have anything?
B, did you want to talk about Mary?
Already, damn, it's over. Like I missed the whole thing. Seriously. Damn.
But you can end with the strong note. Bring up that Mary Mazdur talk that you were thinking about.
Yes, bring us home.
This sucks. Well, I was just Mary. We were okay. So we're talking about the crones, and it's just it was really just a thought. You know, we hear about George saying that prophecy is more so like something that people can force to happen. Like it can be something that isn't real and something that people can force to happen. I feel like Mary Mazdur has forced the I guess the prince that rides or whatever the Dothraki would call that prophecy to happen. She forced it to happen. Were it not for Mary Mazdur doing what she did to sacrifice Khal Drogo, Dany wouldn't have learned that it's a life for a life. She wouldn't have learned it's a life for a life. She wouldn't have learned that bit of blood magic to go with the fire that it would take to resurrect these dragons and then to force the prophecy to happen. And so, like, that was just a thought that I had, and I wanted to explore that with you guys because it's interesting how prophecy is fickle that way. It can happen, it cannot happen, or it can be forced to happen. Were it not for Mary Mazdur, the dragons wouldn't have hatched. Arguably, the dragons would not have hatched. Or not as soon, anyway. That was it.
It's good.
Dang, I'm mad I missed it.
Drop that knowledge, yo. Drop that knowledge. We're not mad at you. Better late than never. You were here and you were gone and you were back. And your hair is on point. We're loving the braids right now.
Yes, indeed.
Work.
We are conspiracy twins.
Hashtag conspiracy twins.
The conspiracy power is strong.
Conspiracy twins. I like it.
Braids, we were on same link.
With
The conspiracy fire burns.
I got twins too.
Oh my gosh, that's why you guys are so same.
See, look, seriously, y'all don't understand in the chat. During the week, when we're all talking,
Yeah.
people come out with some other stuff, and T will co-sign, like, right behind her. Like, we can't even keep up with the chat sometimes, because these things are going
No,
on.
really, like, what if Robert Baratheon is, like, a secret faceless man, and he was sent to Westeros? And then T-Baby's like, I know, right? Because in chapter 2 of book 3, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, what?
They be on weird stuff. Like, if you ever seen this show on USA called Monk, that is exactly how we are. We will read something, and instead of them saying, like, mother, they said father. And I'm like, oh, you know what that means? She's like, yeah, there's werewolves in there, and they're about to attack. I was like, yep, and the White Walkers are coming around the back. It's like, how you get that from one word? She gets me, I promise you.
That is exactly what happens every time. And the rest of us just be sitting there like, what in the hell?
I know, I sound crazy. I know I sound crazy half the time, but she crazy with me. She's like, that makes sense, because when you think, I'm like, I'm just saying. That's why once again, I do not live in Westeros.
You know how I feel?
I'm a crazy lady.
Remember the movie Harlem Nights when everybody was shooting with the machine gun and the one guy goes, pow. That's exactly how I feel. I'd be like, yeah.
And then they look at us and they be like, quit shooting that little shit. And we're like, oh.
no, that's not true.
I mean, we're saying they're crazy, but, you know, they actually come out with some stuff that really makes you think like,
Not crazy.
that's actually possible.
If you're not going to go out there with your crazy thoughts and say, hey, this looks off. Like, that's the whole point. I always say it's hard to do these theory videos, and I applaud, like, Lady D has amazing theory videos, so check it out. But I applaud you guys for having these theory videos, because I get so into my thoughts and down that rabbit hole, I can't come out because it's so many questions. I'll go in there trying to talk about Patchface, and next thing you know, I'm talking about Great Kings. I'm like, wait, how did I get here? All the time. And like I said, when you talk about Great Kings, you will find yourself at its citadel. If you're talking about werewolves, you will find yourself at citadel. All theories lead to Old Town. And that
Pop.
mess around and start talking about Queens. We had this discussion about Queens. Did you guys talk about that? We had this discussion about Queens.
No, we didn't talk about. We gotta save that for the next stream.
Didn't even go there.
I wish you would have seen. It just jumped from like that to like fire and blood and what that means, and like it's just insane. Like you don't even understand. It's great. I love it. I love you guys. Awesome.
I do too.
We love you too. That's why our chats are so fun. I love talking to y'all because like we do. The people in the chat don't know that we talk and we have the chat room group going on all week. I'm not even in it as much as I want to be, but when I pop back in and I see like 30 little lines, I'm cracking up. I'm like, yes, I thought the same thing. And then half of it, I'm going, I never thought of that. So it's like this weird serendipitous thing that we all ended up talking to each other about this show and these books because I love them and I'm obsessed with them and you guys get me. I feel like, you know, you complete me.
It's because you know what? It's a no judgment zone. We just dig each other, and we're willing to like. You know what? I never thought that Ghost of High Heart would have been a Black Friday till B said something. I was like, wait a minute, like maybe she just never was.
You never know.
I always have like these epiphanies, like that's like interesting. Like I didn't catch that. They all of them bring it. I mean, you just saw it. Beauty Queen just like shut it down for us. Kingston always bringing something. It's just always something.
I just try to keep up with y'all. Like B put out something with the queens, and then I don't know if it was you or if it was her that was talking about the meaning of fire and blood. And just
I wasn't even in that. I think that was you.
That was Brittany. No, that was Brittany talking about it was instructions, not a motto. Like it's instructions.
And she brought up like the House Stark words, and I said once I learned those words, I always read them together. Yes, winter is coming in fire and blood.
Winter is coming.
There are instructions of how to do things, you know, how to make dragons, and if the long night happens again. But that's a whole other stream. That's another stream. We can't get into that because we'll be here for another 3 hours, and Sphinx has to go. It's getting late, and the Hand Queen has to go also. So. We can't do that.
I do, but I'm having so much fun. We didn't get to I had like 4 more people. I had Jojen, Melisande, and Quaith. And if you guys were down to do a part 2 on prophetic people, absolutely, those are at least 3 that we missed from at least just my little checklist. So we haven't even hit the real deep part of those people.
We can do that tomorrow if you want to do it tomorrow or anytime.
I would be down. All right. So people in the chat will post an event once we all decide if we're available tomorrow, and we'll do a part 2 to it. And then if y'all want to close out the last things y'all had to say or questions you saw. Chris, were you going to say something, Sphinxy?
Nope. I'm just here to smile and wave.
I'm so glad you guys came tonight. This is so fun.
I'm so glad you finally have your channel. Yay.
Right?
I know. Yeah, for real. You got finally.
So finally, it took me like 3 years, but whatevs.
But you're here. That's all that counts.
Yeah, this is fun.
This live stream is basically our group chat, just
in front of people.
Our faces, true, because we talk about all this stuff all the time. We'll have petty meme wars. It's just fun time.
Petty.
If we could stream the petty war.
Oh my God. That petty war. Let me tell you, I developed a 2-pack at my desk from the petty war.
Gosh, petty war was ridiculous.
I have to mute y'all because I was at work. I was like, I can't.
Oh my gosh.
She won. Like Kingston was coming with a pow, pow,
She
pow.
sure was. She was like one after the other. I was like, oh my. I asked her, like, do you have a library of these? She's like,
yes.
I sure do.
Yes, I do. I am petty. 100%. I will admit it. I am petty as shit.
That's the problem. They were all very good memes about being petty.
Yeah,
there weren't no bullshit memes about being petty. There weren't no like, oh, you kind of petty. No, they were like, no, like, bitch, I'm being petty. Look, petty LaBelle, petty sauce, petty mayonnaise, petty wine.
Look, this is the look on my face when I wake up in the morning. I'm about to be petty.
It's like Beyonce memes.
I'm going to be petty today.
on. Like, it was horrible. It was crazy. You know, like, it was like, this is, wow. Like, this.
I did this one swipe and I can't mute. I have work to do.
I love the fact that I can have a meme war. I love the fact that I can have a meme war. She gets me.
Sister. We all get each other.
Other grown people having meme wars with me. Like, girl, get out my face. This one's good. I was hitting those memes like it was Pokemon cards.
It was like, look at this. What is happening? What is happening?
What was happening? You know how, like, you see a really bad spade? I don't play spades. I don't, because most spades games that I've played, it ended badly. But, like, I was hitting them things like spades. Like, you ain't getting this.
It was like domino. Like,
that was a straight killer domino game of petty. That's what that was.
She won though, but I don't know when we'll have another meme war, but
it was beautiful. It was absolutely spectacular and brilliant. I loved every minute of it.
It was great.
To kick one off on the morrow.
Oh,
first one up. Start the topic on the meme war.
You know what? No, if you give me enough time to go through Manicam, I bet I can figure out a way for us to stream a meme war.
Copyright strike.
For memes, I highly doubt that.
No, meme war would be great.
Memes are completely fair use.
Somebody's gonna be like, I made that meme. I copyrighted that meme.
I know, right? Let's just keep it. Anybody got time for that?
Someone could just share. Like, can we just create a channel called Meme War real quick? Free share one
a
chat.
Facebook page of meme wars where they could just flow in the feed.
You gotta see it live. You gotta see it live though. There's nothing like seeing it live. There's nothing like being like bam, bam, and there being like a slight lull, and then all of a sudden it's like bam, 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 bam.
Like Luna, she was killing me, hit me with the draw two, draw four. I forgot which one they got me. I was like, I was going to use that, and I didn't. I was like, no.
Wait, like battleship. It was like strategy. It was good.
Yeah, because I was like, okay.
You gotta save your good memes for the right time, right? You can't just pull out your random memes.
Dude, I have memes for
No. It's like Alicia had them already all lined up though. It's like she had them all lined up.
I am
on Facebook. I am in a meme war at least once a week in my nerd group. We go through the shit like it's our job. Seriously, I literally have folders of memes.
You had a lot of petty memes.
I was Googling. I was like, oh,
there's an app.
Like, damn.
No, I didn't have an app. I had a folder, ma'am.
You don't use no app, yo. She's all
if you want an app and everybody else wants an app, like Jesse Williams with his fine behind is advocating Ebroji. I don't exactly know what his involvement is, but I can tell you that all of the memes that I've let off in the chat are from Ebroji, especially the Morticia drinking tea is from Ebroji. So if you enjoyed Morticia drinking tea, just remember Ebroji brought that to you. Like,
that's funny.
Get the app, guys. Ebroji.
Oh, a lot of y'all play spades. Yeah, I don't.
My lady.
This game, this dude he lost, and he was like, "All right, wait, I'm gonna be back." I was like, "No, the fuck you ain't. I'm gone."
I was just about to say
that I'll be back. Like, nah. You'll be back. I won't be here, okay?
Went around for the ass whooping.
See, baby, you make a good point. I don't know how to play spades because people will not lose to teach me how to play spades. And that's a bunch of petty bullshit. My husband included. My husband will drop me from the team and be like, nah, I can't. I'm going to play with your sister.
That's very
it will drop you.
I'm going to sacrifice myself for you in this spades game. This is my reputation.
How are you going to learn, though? Like, the other players know you never played.
If you want to learn how to play spades, I suggest you download it and play it on your phone.
Right.
Especially men, they are not trying to. They don't have
this cultural. We don't do that. We don't play with.
They're trying to take everything.
It's not happen.
Yeah.
Can anybody teach you during a live game? That's like teaching you to shoot during a war. What's wrong with
Apparently.
nobody wants to lose. No, nobody wants to get shot to shoot.
I mean,
People were more willing to teach me to shoot during a war than they were willing to teach me to play spades in the game.
the rest of us learned how to play spades, like by playing spades. Like you play
I hate
spades.
spades.
You play the game with the person, but you don't play in a game. You don't play in a game with other people.
People are way too disrespectful.
I learned how to play spades.
Yeah.
Because they be
I'm sorry, guys.
with the cards and stuff.
They'll break your heart and your mind.
I'm
and your
sorry.
spirit.
We gotta wrap it up.
Damn, you have to do all that shit right here. Then to your cards and shit, you like, fuck you. Nah.
And that card ain't even nothing. It's like a freaking 3 of clubs, and you like, oh, so you gonna throw that 3 of clubs down there?
Yep.
You just gonna throw that down there? Like,
How many books you got? How many books you got?
I got 3 in
I got 2 in a
table.
Is it a strong possible? Is it a strong possible?
possible.
I mean, real strong possible.
I say that all the time. I'll be like, I got 2 in a strong possible. I don't know how this is looking. I can pull.
But who counts that? Like, do you actually count that possible? Like as a possible?
you gotta count the other cards. Depends on what I got in my hand. Like how many other cards. But I'm not telling y'all. See, that's catch a slipping. Ain't nobody hear that. Nothing.
See how they get? You think Lords of Westeros are petty? Play a
Oh
card.
my God.
Spades.
Oh my God.
You guys, I'm so sorry. We gotta go. We gotta wrap this thing up. And hashtag I hate spades. I hate spades and everybody who would never teach me how to play spades. Fuck you, cards.
We hating on the cards. Hate on the people.
Right.
Hate the player. Don't hate the game.
I know how to play
I
dominoes.
like your cards anyway.
That's
Never should have gave you 52 bets.
I hate your cards. I hate all these cards.
I love how we end this off by talking about spades.
Right.
Random.
Spades
Random.
being petty.
That's on topic.
Welcome to our world. You know?
It's gotta
Yes.
happen. In
And
Triple
thank you guys
All
so
day.
much for bringing your knowledge and your craziness. I love you guys, and this has been so fun. But I want to give everybody time to sign off before the chat may start to go to the 9 o'clock, and we can all wrap it up in time. So I want to go down the line, T-Baby.
Hey, this was fun. Check me out on my channel. I have videos there. I'll have some more eventually. I won't give you a date because that's petty. Always fun with my sisters, my friends. We always have fun. I'm just glad that you guys got a taste of us just hanging out what we normally do. So, and I'm glad you guys had fun as well. So I hope you guys had fun in the chats.
I'm gonna go next. My name is Christina the Sphinx. I'm not gonna take my channel because that would be petty. But you know, if you find me, maybe you find me. If not, stop being a petty ass.
Lady.
I'm Lady Diligence, and I'm very petty. So you can find my information in the description box. You can go there. You can subscribe. You can watch all of the videos, and then you can share them to your friends and your family and your community members and whomever you feel like. I feel like that's an excellent idea. I think that's great. Thank you for tuning in and watching with us. Part 2 is going to be tomorrow, right? So we'll figure out what time that's going to be. We'll set up an event, hopefully, and if not, then we'll get it on another day. This was great, even though I wasn't here the whole time. And reread that part with Mary Mars-Dura. Like, there's a part at which you can honestly see that she gets scared. Like, she tells you she's not afraid to die, and then all of a sudden she sees Daenerys get those dragon eggs and put it on that pear, that fire where she's about to burn. Excuse me. And all of a sudden, Mary starts panicking and screaming like, oh, wait, because she realizes I just taught this broad life for a life, and now she's about to use it against me and freaking get the dragon, and the dang dragon is the prince that mounts the world. I think that sucks for her. So just like think about that.
That's some petty.
That is petty. You see how I did that? You see how I snuck that in there? I don't care. It ain't 9 o'clock yet. I'm real petty. You got 12 minutes. I'm search the internet. It's a link, yo. Just click over. Thank you. Thank you. guys.
Alicia.
So yeah, y'all know who I am. I had to put a new banner up just because of this past conversation. I'm petty. That's just the way it is. There's no other ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I'm gonna end on a real petty as all hell note. Petty, 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 petty.
I love it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for everybody in the chat. You guys are
Did
crazy.
Beauty Queen say goodbye?
It's time.
Yo, the beauty queen didn't sign off.
Monero.
What?
Thanks for having me.
Manaro, we passed.
Congrats
Oh,
on your
snap. I'm
first,
sorry. Go ahead,
stream.
girl.
Congrats on your first stream. Thank you for having me. It's been fun. Thank you, everybody in the chat. My channel is Manaro Geek TV. You can check it out if you like. Please subscribe to everybody and check out their content. Please stay tuned for all the great things that North is about to bring to y'all. It's about to be real fire. Have a blessed night, everybody.
Y'all see how professional she was? She being petty.
Yeah, she was. She tried it.
how ridiculous.
Thank you guys. Everybody's links will be in the description as well. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Smooches, everyone.